Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today in class, you all wrote a literary analysis paragraph based off of the short story 7th Grade by Gary Soto. What we're going to do in this video is we are going to prepare for tomorrow's Flipped Friday lesson by looking at the steps that you should take in order to write a literary analysis paragraph like a 7th grade champion. Now, the steps contained in this video are important and we will continue to build on them throughout the year. This is the basis, and as the year moves on, we're going to be looking at adding more than one piece of literature into our literary analysis paragraphs. So to start, the very first step is to break down the prompt. So this is the prompt that you were given yesterday. It says, in the short story 7th Grade by Gary Soto, what does Victor learn from his experiences? How can you apply that lesson to life in general? Use textual evidence to support your answer. So to look at this prompt broken down, you can see that there are several different parts. The first part of the question that you have to answer is, what does Victor learn from his experience? The second part is, how can you apply that lesson to life in general? And then the third part is to use textual evidence to support your answer. That means that you actually have to have examples from the text. So once you have the prompt broken down, you can then go ahead and start writing your paragraph because you know exactly what you need to have in it. So step 2 is to create a topic sentence. Now, some of you may remember this from 6th grade, and some of you may not have learned this in 6th grade, but to create a topic sentence, you need to restate the question in one sentence. So I've given you an example here. It says, in 7th grade by Gary Soto, Victor learns a lesson everyone can use in their own lives. Be true to yourself. The next step after that is to find the textual evidence that supports your answer. You can use two different kinds of textual evidence. The first type of textual evidence is just a summary of an example from the story. So, for example, Victor pretended to know French when he didn't in order to impress Teresa. Now, this is something you all can do. If you would like to dazzle me, you can use a direct quote as your textual evidence. So, for example, Victor couldn't stand to look at Teresa. He was sweaty with shame, and that's from page 121. Now, eventually, I'm going to require that you all use a direct quote in your paragraphs. But for right now, if you're not ready to do that, that's okay. Now that we have our textual evidence, what we need to do is we need to write our actual paragraph. So I have written a paragraph here for you to kind of give you an example. It says, in 7th grade by Gary Soto, Victor learns a lesson everyone can use in their own lives. Be true to yourself. Victor learns this the hard way by pretending to know French in order to impress Teresa, a girl he likes. When Teresa complimented Victor on his knowledge, Victor couldn't stand to look at Teresa. He was sweaty with shame. This shows that Victor was embarrassed because he pretended to be someone that he was not. In life, it is important to always be true to who you are as a person. Unfortunately, it took a moment of embarrassment for Victor to understand this. Once you have your paragraph written, the last thing that you need to do is you need to check it over. It is not okay to turn work in without checking it over first. So here is a checklist that you can use to check your work over. Step 1, did the paragraph answer all parts of the prompt? Step 2, did the topic sentence restate the question? Step 3, is there strong textual evidence? Step 4 was to write your paragraph. So, as 7th graders, I expect that your paragraphs are 6 to 8 sentences, including a concluding sentence. So do you have that? I also expect that you have a variety of sentence types. Use compound sentences, complex sentences, and even compound complex sentences. And then lastly, does your paragraph have correct spelling, punctuation, and grammar? So those are the 5 steps to create an awesome literary analysis paragraph. Tomorrow in class, there will be different stations. I'll hand you back your paragraph. You'll be able to look to see how many of these steps that you included, and then you will also be able to meet with me in different stations and your peers in different stations to work through to revise your paragraph so that you have the best paragraph possible before I collect it for an assessment. If you have questions, you can always refer back to this video as it will be posted in your Google Classroom and on the Classroom website for the entire year.